Hey, everybody. Welcome to It Tastes Different Gaming News. What's in the news today? People getting screwed and people getting paid. All right. Before we jump in here, make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit those good old buttons down there that make us all happy. And don't forget, at the end of the video, give us your thoughts and opinions on what we've talked about. So let's jump in. So Microsoft CEO, and I hope I don't butcher his name, but I think he's an asshole, so I don't care. Satya Nadella gets $30 million pay raise amid a year of massive gaming layoffs. According to proxy filings published earlier this week and spotted by NBC, Nadella's compensation for the fiscal year 2024 totaled $79 million, $79,106,183.12. I added that myself. 2.5 million of this was his base salary pay. 71.24 million was stock awards. 5.2 million was non-equity incentive plan compensation. And the rest was a mixture of, tips for, cleaning the tables and all that good stuff. So, that's significantly higher than last year when Nadella's compensation totaled $48.5 million, when Nadella's base salary remained flat between years. He saw a massive jump in the past fiscal year in stock awards, going from $39.24 million last year to $71.24 million this year. Per the filing, the ratio of total annual compensation of Nadella to the median employee at Microsoft was 408 to 1. So, cleaning a lady's still going to have to work that part-time job, unfortunately. There's a bunch of big number bullcrap in here, and you all can kind of jump in and find out how some of these things total out here. But the company in January laid off 1,900 staff from its gaming workforce. And then a few months later, they closed Redfall developer Arcane Austin, the hi-fi Rush developer Tango Gameworks, and laid off others within Bethesda. Already this quarter, Microsoft has laid off another 650 gaming staff. So there is well over 3,000 people that have lost their job. And it's I'm going to try to be politically correct about this because that's the kind of person I am. But fuck this guy and fuck Microsoft. 3,000 people plus lose their jobs. This guy gets a $30 million boner. That's a load of crap. That's a lot of money that could have been used to make tweaks within the company. I'm sure some of those people did have to go. I can kind of understand some things. But if you got $30 million to give to one asshole, give it to 3,000 of them and try to preserve those jobs. Let them try to, keep their jobs by making money. Now, granted, if you suck at your job, you should be let go. I fully understand that. If you make a game that underperforms and it's not your fault, it's because people like this, are telling you what you have to do instead of letting you do what you know to do. That's where I have limits. It's a load of crap. $30 million would have saved a lot of jobs. $30 million would have done a lot of good to help turn things around for those people, for those employees. Now, like I said, I understand if they're not doing their jobs well, sometimes you have to let them go. But if it's because of the faults of others above them, like Nadella, like Spencer, that's a load of shit. I'm just so sick of Microsoft lately. It's just unbelievable. I mean, they did such a great job to turn the public eye towards them in a more favorable light over the last 8 years. And this last 2 years, it's just been, forget it. We're done trying to be good and be decent people, be a decent company, be a decent publisher, be a decent developer. They're just done with it. And now it's just bend them over and leave them in the dust. So I'm ranting and I'm pissed off because I'd love to see rich people screw over the regular people. So, let's go to the ITD version of P. Diddy here. Pat, what do you think, buddy?
I didn't get my shipment of baby oil this month, so.
Sorry, Nick. Nick stole it off your porch.
Yeah, I mean, I hate this. I hate it's so annoying when you see all this stuff. Corporations are just getting greedier and greedier and greedier with stuff like this, right? Because they have their whatever they do 9% increase year over year that they got to hit, and to do that, revenue increase, they laid off 2,500, 3,000, whatever employees. Probably saved Microsoft $200 million, or $300 million, and they gave him a 10% chunk of it as bonus, right? They're like, hey, you saved us $300 million this year. Well, it's all those people I let go, right? Which is just stupid, and so Microsoft is profitable, right? It's not like we're not profitable this year. I think what did I read that they made like freaking $245 billion revenue, tripled revenue since his undertake. So they're all pinning this on since he got hired in 2014, 10 years. They tripled revenue to $245.1 billion, and they quadrupled net income to $88.1 billion. And then and then some. I don't know nothing about diluted earning shares. That's something I don't have a clue about. I've not read into enough to know what diluted earning shares are. So it's just the way of the world, right? How do we make sure that we hit our 9% revenue increase this year? We lay off 3,000 people, right? Because our products aren't making up for the effort. We got to get rid of the people that are costing us the money. Not to mention, those are the people that keep your business running. Because I mean, the way I look at it, outside of them shutting down studios, the amount of work stayed the same, right? But the majority of what I understand their layoffs were from the gaming division. So like 2,500 of those employees or 2,600 of them were from the gaming division. So closing down studios, because they closed a few studios this year. I'm pretty sure more than just that one. So normally when you lay off people, the work doesn't go down. Just other people have to absorb that work that was around them. Unless, like Shane said, they were just shitty people who were spending 8 hours in the bathroom a day or whatever, playing on their phones, or who knows what they were doing. So people outside of the divisions that were completely closed off had to just absorb the work of the people that left the team, right? That's just the way it always works. Keep up the same productivity with less people. I always call it do more with less. That's what they want you to do. They want you to do more with less. And you're just like, no, that's not how the world works, right? It's going to be interesting to see how corporate America survives in the next 50 years, right? And the reason I say that is because the younger generation out there isn't willing to do what a lot of us do, put in more than 8 hours a day, right? Like, I guarantee you all of us put in more than 8 hours a day on a regular. And we're salaried employees, right? So I think when you get into the younger generation, they're like, my 8 hours is up. See you fuckers. And that's what they do. And that's and there's nothing wrong with that. How you choose to work is your personal decision, right? In my opinion. I just grew up in a generation and a time frame where to get ahead, you do what needs to be done. You do what it takes to do, to make the money and, look good in the company eyes so they take care of you and all that stuff. But as we progress through history, more and more companies just take advantage of that. They don't take care of the employees. They just take advantage of the employee. Not every company does that, but some companies do. A lot of them, especially in the gaming industry, do that. It's what it seems. We've heard story after story of failing game companies not paying their employees, but encouraging them to work. So when the game does come out, they'll make up for it. And when they just fold the studio up, and they don't compensate those people, things like that. So I think a lot of the younger generation has just gotten burned too much, or they're just like, you know what? I don't care. And it's to the point to where they're just like, I put my 8 hours in a day and I'm done. You're not getting any more out of me. Which may bring about a change in the corporate world, right? I think that the way that companies operate today, a lot of times, is unsustainable, right? A guaranteed increase year over year is just only good while the economy is good. And when the economy goes to the tank, in the tank, then so does that philosophy. And then next thing you know, everybody is back. They laid off so many people. Unemployment's so high. People can't afford to buy bread. They can't afford to buy food. They can't afford to feed their family. It's just stupid. And then, especially in the gaming industry this year, there's been massive cuts in the gaming industry. And then you hear stories like this where Microsoft's just laid off a shit ton of people, given their CEO a huge fucking golden toilet seat for his birthday. And, and just fuck you to the employees is what it is. And that to me pisses me off to no end. It's like, I don't know. I hear all the, a little off topic, but you start hearing about like, Microsoft's big money makers and stuff like that is gaming, but it's also in their cloud, their Azure environment, their Entra environment, right? And you hear about this mass cloud exodus of people that move to the cloud that are moving their workloads out of the cloud. And to me, I'm like, keep going. Fuck Microsoft. Let them lose their ass, right? Because I'm like, shit like this just pisses me off. Like, how do you get away giving somebody a $30 million bonus when you had a shit year of layoffs with massive amount of employee left? How does that look to the public? To the public, it looks like you're just saying, fuck you, public. We don't care. Because that's what it does. Our employees don't matter is what I hear from that. We cut 3,000 employees, saved $300 million, and we gave 10% of that savings to our CEO because he personally fired everybody one person at a time, right? Yeah. Douchebag. Microsoft douchebag. But all you got to do is be a CEO. Whatever effort you do or not do in a company like Microsoft, if you're the CEO of Microsoft and you had a hand or not a hand in increasing revenue, we're just going to give you the bonus because you're the top, right? That's what it seems like. Because to me this year, Microsoft went down the toilet this year. Like Phil Spencer is becoming a massive douchebag. He's running Xbox into the ground, and this guy here is just, pushing him along. They're just taking their wheelbarrows full of cash to the bank and laughing all the way while 3,000 employees had to go look for a new job and, probably had their life upended because of a decision these guys made. To give this guy a $30 million bonus. It's very disheartening and discouraging in this country when we have massive inflation, massive amounts of layoffs in the gaming industry. It just seems like a slap in the face, like a we don't care. Sony's always been a we don't care company, but Microsoft's always at least pretended. And now they're like, slap the spoon out of the kid's mouth and be like, stop feeding your kid because we're getting rid of you. It's just what it is. And it just pisses me off too. The longer I go, I'm just going to keep ranting, but I don't think, as much as I am for free markets and things like this, a $30 million bonus, who in their right mind believes that's fair compensation to anything? That guy did not do $30 million worth of work for that company. He didn't do shit to earn that. I don't care if he's the CEO. I don't care if he personally gave Handy J's the entire board of directors and freaking shareholders. It ain't worth it. The guy, I don't know. It's sickening when you hear that stuff. It is extremely sickening to hear stuff like this.
It's in his contract.
Yeah, it's in his contract. You got a $1 bonus for every one you do. Guy going to be jacked like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It's a big circle jerk between the CEOs and the shareholders, right? I mean, they're just jacking each other off, and it's like, you do this you do this at the company,
maybe the board, right? Because shareholders,
or maybe the board,
everybody could be shareholders.
That's true, but I mean,
you may have $1
investors or
investors are one of our biggest problems in society right now when it comes to large corporations like this. They have too much power. That's just my personal opinion. I think they have too much power to make dictate what a company should do for their profit.
I mean, technically, they don't always. You can't think like that. I mean, it's more like the company is beholden to the shareholders and that's numero uno. The shareholders are numero, especially in a company like Microsoft that's large enough and they pay out dividends every year. Or they pay out dividends multiple times a year. The shareholders are expecting their cost per share to go up, right? And they're expecting a dividend payout.
Yeah.
And if you can't make that happen for them, they're going to drop your stock and go to another one. It's not really an investor type way to think of it. It's a fundamental flaw in the system because you're basing, a lot of times it's arbitrary too, right? We're basing your value as a company, not necessarily off of your revenue, but how we feel about you is how people that invest feel about you, not how the general populace feels about you, right? Because the general populace doesn't matter. If you don't own shares or stock in a company, that company don't care about you.
No,
they're just like, we want to make
an arbitrary number that they've come up with.
Right. That they've come up with. And even though we were profitable, let's say that we set our year over year increase to 10% next year. And we only got 7%. Holy crap. We made money, but we didn't make 10%. It's a bad year. We better start redlining and getting rid of people. Mm-hmm. We didn't make that. To make sure we hit that 10% number, you know what we need to do? We need to lay some people off. Yep. And that to me is the stupidest thing in my brain. It's like, you're still in the black. You're still not losing money, but you're going to get rid of people just so you can hit this arbitrary number that you gave to Wall Street to say, I'm going to make that number. And then when you don't make it, if you're off by 1 basis point or 2 basis points, it's the end of the world and your stock plummets. Like people shout massive sell off. And it's like, they still made increased revenue year over year this year. Increased revenue. I don't get it. To me, it's mind boggling that people, the stock market is so fickle with stuff like that. And it's just, I don't know of a better system. I don't think there's a better system out there. How do you make a better system, right? History is just a trial and error of system after system that fails. Failing system after failing system. And will this one fail? Maybe so. In the future, we'll never know until, or we'll end up in like Cyberpunk's dystopian future where corporations own everything and people can't afford to do anything, right? Unless you're in the top echelon of people in the world, they can afford to make, that make millions of dollars a year. You think you make good money if you make, $50,000 a year or whatever, but it's peanuts in this country. Sometimes you're like $50,000 when you consider that average rent in this country is around $1,200, $1,100 a month and stuff like that. And you're like, if it's $1,000 a month, that's $12,000 a year just for rent. And just because you made 50 doesn't mean you bring home 50, right? The government takes their chunk. The federal government takes their chunk. The state governments take their chunk. Your insurance takes its chunk. You're lucky to bring home 60 to 70% of what you make. So it's these gaming companies and Microsoft included are going to, I don't know, man. They make way too much money. They're just too big, in my opinion. They just don't give a shit about people. It's profit, and that's large corporations for you. I mean, unfortunately, I don't know, Nick. I'm just ranting and rambling now because I'm kind of pissed off now that Shane got the ball rolling. What do you think, man? I mean, $30 million bonus seems like a lot for a guy whose base salary is $2.5 million.
Right. Yeah. No, it's ridiculous. Just like you guys said, and the corporate machine, I feel like at some point is going to come to a head, right? You can only go so far until you hit the ceiling, right? And there is going to be a ceiling that they're going to smash into, and that's going to be and it's going to topple down, right? I mean, you can only go so high. And yeah, I mean, I think it's just, it's all the executives and investors and things at the top that are just, like I said, they're circle jerking each other off. Like for them, it's basically saying you did good by, as the CEO, by making decisions or having other people make decisions to get rid of, to make Green Arrow go up. And so next year you do same thing. We give you big bonus, right? That's basically it. We give you money. You keep doing that. make Green Arrow go up, and we keep giving you money. And he's like, cool, I'll do whatever it takes, right? Or have underlings do whatever it takes to make sure that Green Arrow goes up, whether it's shutter studios, cut corners, whatever the case may be. Because I mean, it's not just Xbox in their gaming division. Even Windows 11 hasn't been great for Microsoft. The newest update, Windows 11 version 24, has had a crap ton of issues with it. And so it's like, I feel like Microsoft as a whole, besides them getting rid of studios and laying people off, they're also cutting a lot of corners with things, right? And that's why their products for a while now have been very subpar. But as long as the consumer base keeps purchasing or taking part in those products, then they can continue to cut corners, right? And it goes the same for other corporations out there. They're not, this is not just a Microsoft issue. This is a lot of corporations out there that take advantage of their employees and take advantage of their consumers, right? And it's not about only voting with your wallet, but I mean, there needs to be big, significant changes on how we do things. Because those who are not CEOs, investors, shareholders, boards of directors, whatever, the cleanup guy, whatever, we don't get, we're just expendable, right? I mean, you're just expendable to a company. You don't have, you can come in, you can do whatever work for them. And if they feel like getting rid of you is going to make Green Arrow go up, then they will do so, right? No matter what you've done for them. There is no, the thing I hate about corporations is they expect loyalty from their employees, but they don't give that same loyalty back to the, to their employees. They expect it from their employees, but they don't give it to them. And so, because they'll drop you like a bad habit, but they expect you to bend over backwards for them, right? And yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, that's just a his bonus is really just a gift from those above him saying, "Good job, do that next time, but even better," right? And you'll get more money. We'll just continue to basically bribe you with a large load of cash, and you keep, running this machine into the ground. Because you're running it into the ground, or you're cutting corners, or you're, getting upending people's lives. But hey, we're making profit, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
They all went to the school of the underpants gnome, right?
Yeah.
Step 1, steal the underpants. Step 3, profit.
Step 3, profit.
We don't care about step 2.
Nope. I mean, and that's all that matters anymore. Is profit, money. It controls everything, and not just goods and services, but I mean, like, every aspect of life. And it's getting very disheartening or depressing out there with how many things are just so focused on that next ring of payment, right? That next dollar. Yep. Trying to scrape every last penny off of everybody and everything, right? I mean, especially here in the United States, because that's where we live, it feels like every aspect of our lives is centered around how much can we squeeze out of each person. Like, how many of those pennies can we squeeze out of every individual out there? And if we can squeeze a little bit more, then we'll squeeze it until nothing comes out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, companies, I remember when I was younger, when I was a young kid, you would always hear that companies used to take care of their employees. And what I mean by that is that they had like retirement and things like that. Companies would pay for your retirement until the day
and bonuses, like good bonuses and stuff like that. I mean, like, kind of like your work, Shane. I mean, they give pretty good bonuses, but they are a small company.
I am blessed with my kind of, my boss is old school, but he's the take care of your employee old school. Now, I may not make the greatest wage, but I'm made up for by my treatment The pay that I do get is solid for our area, but I do get good bonuses. You work hard, you're gonna be okay. Our society is like you were saying, Nick. We have become we're focused on the wrong things in our society anymore. There should be no such thing as a billionaire, plain and simple. There just shouldn't be. Yes, I believe in capitalism. I believe in the free market to a point, but when you start hurting everybody, and I mean everybody, there's problems. There's got to be some solutions thought up here. But we're in a position in this country, and I'm not going to talk about everybody, but in this country, those that wish to do us harm are the ones we put in places they can do most harm. You know, our systems are all ran by corporations now. Our government's ran by a corporation. Our healthcare is a corporation. I mean, there's nothing for the people anymore, and this is just another sign of it. And Pat's absolutely right. You bent over 3,000 people, and you get a $30 million bonus. So that's incentive to not give a shit about people. That's just more incentive. Would I hurt 3,000 people for $30 million? No, I wouldn't. Now I can say that because I don't know what $30 million is. No clue what that is. I barely know what $300 is right now. I've got a mortgage came out. And this is it's just a slap in the face to anybody that started feeling good about Microsoft around the Xbox portion over the last several years. And then all that just got pissed away. And we watched people like this making millions by firing and destroying lives. That should not be the American way anymore. It's got to stop. Now, granted, we've kind of veered off topic a little bit here, but hopefully everybody understands what we're getting at, that what was done by Microsoft is not right. Plain simple, to the point. Shitty people should be fired. Plain and simple. We all understand that. We've all worked with and probably still have a few shitty people we work with that should be fired. But those people good people shouldn't lose their jobs because of sick people that want to make profit over people and that made the decisions to make the games not as good as they could have been. That's just not right. Now, before I go ranting again and, maybe get the feds called on me, do you guys have anything else you want to say about this walking poop stain?
No, I mean, I just gotta say, profits over people, like you said, that is the motto.
Yep. All right. Well, if you made it to the end, you're probably pissed off and angry. So let us know. Let us know in the comments below. Tell us what you think. Do you think this rectal wart of a human being should have made $30 million while he fired thousands of people? Let us know in the comments below. If you know what $30 million is like, let me know. Matter of fact, you could send me a little bit of it. That would be awesome too. But don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, all those good buttons down there. And again, thanks for listening. See you next time. See ya.